Welcome back. Well, TLC is really hyping this huge announcement on tonight's John and Kate Plus 8. We've got the rumors of cheating all over the tabloids. This is a family in turmoil, and it's being promoted like this. Check it out.
Recently, we've made some life-changing decisions. Decisions that will affect every member of our family. Ones that we hope will bring each of us some peace.
All right, a family possibly destroyed. Here's what we're getting late breaking news into us here at HLN. People.com reporting that divorce papers have been filed. And it's being promoted like this. Taking your calls, 1-877-TEL-HLN. Let's bring in the panel. Joining me now, Kim Seraphin, senior editor, In Touch Weekly. Also with us, Jennifer Smetters, family law attorney, and also rejoining us, Stacey Kaiser, a psychotherapist. Kim, let's go. Can you concur with the People report that I see you nodding your head? Go ahead, tell us what you know.
Yeah, that's what we're hearing as well. I mean, and this is something that we've known was coming for a long time. They've kind of, they were telling everyone to tune into the show for tonight, but I think this maybe is a little bit of a spoiler. Now, whether they're going to announce the actual divorce tonight or just say it's a separation, that's still to be said, because they do have 40 episodes this season.
Yeah.
So we're going to be watching this. And, it's interesting because John did this impromptu press conference yesterday, and when asked, what's going to happen? Are you splitting up? He said, you have to watch the show tomorrow night. And when they said, are you moving to New York? Because he's been rumored to be looking at an apartment at Trump Place in New York City. He said, you have to watch the show. So he does seem to be telling people to tune into the show, which tells you they probably are going to continue it. They probably are still a little bit concerned with ratings, as they are about their family. They do seem to really love their kids. I really do believe that.
Well, I'll say this, well, I don't want to be judgmental here. I'll just say in a non-judgmental way, I wish they would have stopped the show and fought for their family a little bit more. But I'd love to hear from you, the viewer. Call in 1-877-TEL-HLN. Stacey Kaiser, as you look at this, do you think that if they pulled the plug on the show a year ago and begin the fight for the family and try and just stow away from the cameras, could things have been saved? Do you think it was too late?
Well, I'll be judgmental for you, Mike.
Okay.
I think the minute you stop taking the focus, the minute you take the focus off of the family and the couple and start putting it on things like plastic surgery and television shows, then you run into trouble, and that's what we're seeing here.
Okay, let's bring in Jennifer Smetters, family law attorney. Jennifer, when we're talking about the show possibly continuing, a lot of people say enough's enough. These kids have gone through enough. Their dad, they're going to split. The family's going to split. Pull the plug on the show for the kids' sake. Can somebody make that type of legal ruling?
Absolutely. More likely, if the parties, that is John and Kate, do not have an agreement as to what they're going to do about the custody and the visitation with regard to the children, the judge in the case may appoint a child representative, that is an attorney, to represent the children. In that case, the court will then hear from an attorney the attorney will give advice as to what is in the best interest of the kids. So absolutely, the court is going to be looking at this with a fine-tooth comb and making sure what is done not for publicity, but for these kids, because they have a right to be able to have some privacy and get through this transition with the least amount of harm as possible.
Yeah, and it would seem to me, Stacey Kaiser, to not have to deal with that second wave of wounding when they can look back at the video of how their family came apart. I think that could be as devastating to look at this 5-10 years from now when they can understand what happened.
I 100% agree with you, not to mention all of this additional media coverage. Every time they put themselves out there in front of the camera, it's more information that is documented for those kids to have to relive over and over throughout the rest of their lives.
Let's get a phone call in.
Listen, it's selfish. It's selfish.
Who's saying
flat
that?
out. This is Jennifer Smetters.
Oh, go ahead, Jennifer.
It's flat out selfish of these parents, quite frankly, to put their dreams of stardom before their children, if that's in fact what they're doing, or trying to get ratings and generate revenue over this. These kids are going to, as the doctor said, these kids are going to be reliving this over and over and over, and they're going to have all of this transition documented. If they go through with this and broadcast it for ratings and for money, it's one of the most selfish things you can do, and it is not child-centered.
That's a great point there. Kim, have they made statements over the last few years that say that they're in it for the money and it's all gonna, and this pays off, in other words, and the family's taking a back seat?
You know, John had at some point had said, you know, if it came to the fact that this was just, you know, hurting his kids, he wouldn't want to continue the show. But we know that they've created an industry out of the show. Kate has written books. She does speaking tours. And this is what is, you know, going to be paying for the kids' college educations. This is what is taking care of them right now. This is how they get to live in a house that can hold 8 kids in it. This is how they can get to travel. This is how they can get exposure to things that they normally wouldn't have if the parents had 2 full-time jobs, were not around, if they didn't get to see their parents. It seems like what they're doing now, what they've been doing for a long time, as they seem to have been separated, is that John is with the kids at the house this weekend. Kate's off. He doesn't know where she is, but she's off doing her own thing. Then Kate is with the kids at the house over the weekend, and John is skiing in Utah, for example, or off in New York City looking at apartments. So they seem to be splitting it up this way, so at least the kids are having some sort of normalcy in their life at the house with one parent at least.
We're going to continue the conversation. I'll say this. I would just about guarantee that all 8 of those kids would say later in life they'd give up that prepaid college education and all that money if their family could have stayed together. We'll take your calls, 1-877-TEL-HLN.
Come on, honey.
On this day, as we make this recommitment to one another, I am so amazed to be standing here with our children present. Our first wedding was for us. This time, it is also for us, but mostly to publicly promise our children that we will always be together, complete as a family, for always.
Publicly promise the children they'll be together in a family always. Well, now we're getting word that the big announcement is going to be that they're getting divorced. It's sad for those 8 children. We're taking your calls, 1-877-TEL-HLN. Let's go to the phone. Cecile in California. Hi, Cecile. Your thoughts here?
Yes, okay.
Go ahead. You're up.
Oh, I see, okay. I don't have much to say. I don't know if, I can't say whether they're being selfish or not. I think they're just overwhelmed. Too much intrusion into their lives, too much, television exposure and what have you, celebrity status and all that. And I believe that, the tabloids are having a heyday over this. Should give them not only 50% of the returns they've had from exploiting this scandal, but maybe 80%. Good grief.
Yeah.
And give those people a long vacation, somebody to take care of the children, and the right therapy also, right counseling, because those people are Christian. I remember when Kate was having surgery, and John was holding her and praying for her that God would see her through this. And I thought, how beautiful.
Yeah, and you wonder what happened, Cecile. There's some. I want to show some video. I think we have it there, Leslie. The video of John wheeling Kate out in the wheelchair. Here it is. This is after the sextuplets were born. What happened? You hear Cecile there. Stacey Kaiser. What? It was at the TV show. I mean, it probably all adds up. The TV show, the stress of raising 8 kids, all under the age of 5. What do you think? Tell us that. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, when you have either 1 child or 8 or 15, you are responsible and have to be accountable for putting them first. And that means that TV shows, plastic surgery, hair implants, whatever it is that you're wanting, those things go second. And what I think has happened with this family is that they are not putting their kids first. They've been putting fame and fortune ahead of that.
And don't you think, as far as a priority, that the marriage took a back seat? I just picked up on this. I want to get your take, Stacey. Even in that renewal of the vows, that was just last year, by the way, their 9th anniversary, she's talking about the marriage being for the kids. I mean, the husband-wife relationship, that's what the marriage is about. Them, and the kids come second, and then everybody's happy.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. At first, we're people, and then we're a couple, and then we have kids. And so we have to keep ourselves humming along, we have to keep the couple humming along, and we have to keep the kids humming along. And you know what I see a lot of in that relationship, and that you've probably seen as well if you've ever tuned into the show, is there's a lot of disrespect that goes on. She talks to him like he's a small child.
Yeah.
He goes out and about carousing late at night while she's out of town working on a book tour. I mean, the basis of disrespect can kill any relationship.
It can, and he should have stood up for himself, not only for his own self-respect, but that's the beginning of the fighting for your family.
Absolutely.
A marriage isn't going to last when there's that much disrespect, and I think fault lies equally with both, for her for dishing it out, for him for taking it. Ladies, thanks so much. Great conversation. Thank you, the viewers, for the phone calls.